camping trailer into a chicken coop. Follow along and watch us as we go. At the moment, Martin's just pulling out all the electrics out of the old trailer.
Hi, I'm Martin. I'm the other half of Made by Marley. So I'm in the workshop here and I'm cutting down the ply that we're going to use to make the base of the trailer. Just checking that it fits nicely. And then I'm going to go back into the workshop, and what I'm doing here is I'm just cutting out the sides for the nesting boxes. I just cut down a sheet of material and I'm just making the supports for those now. Making sure everything is measured right, of course. And I'm just joining those side supports now to the supports. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip that board over on its back with the nest boxes underneath now, so I can secure them to the base from underneath, so that when I flip it back over, it will fit nicely into the trailer like that. It's an old trailer, it's a metal trailer. So what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to have to cut some doors and windows in it using my angle grinder. What I was doing here was just knocking out some of the rough edges, and in a second I'm going to sand them down to get any of the burrs off and any of the edges, just to make it nice and smooth, so when the girls are going in and out of the chicken coop they don't get caught on anything. We were quite keen to use the materials that we had, keep the cost down on this project. So lots of old scrap wood and things. These bits of wood used to be staging for something, but they made for a fine door now. That'll give us easy access in and out of the chicken coop. Nice, lots of space there. What I'm doing here is I'm just measuring the back of the trailer, because there were a couple of bits of metalwork that were protruding from the rear. I'm not sure what they originally were, but I'm just drilling them out here because we decided what we would do here is we'd add a nice veranda on the back of the chicken coop for the girls. So I'm just making the frame for the door now. What I did was I set my table saw to a nice low height and just ran a piece of wood over it on the two different sides to cut out the channel for the door to slide in and out of. So just checking that everything worked, and went on another hunt now needed a handle for it. So I had a couple of old window frames, an old sash window that makes a perfect little handle. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take my angle grinder again, and I'm going to what I'm doing here is I'm removing the entire center section of the roof. I cut round the edges and then a little bit of brute force basically to kick it out. Put that piece of metal to one side because I'm sure we'll find another use for it on another project. And into the workshop now. A little bit of tidying up to do on the frame itself, getting rid of some of those old nasty seals, and just tweaking it. And what I'm doing here is I'm putting in what will be the eaves for the roof. Everything's a 45-degree angle, 45-degree pitch on the roof. And what I'm just showing you here is one side of those joists. That's the 45-degree angle there. And that there is going to be a notch for it to rest on the frame. So I don't know if you know this, but on every saw that I've ever seen anyway, there are two angles on the handle. One's a 90-degree angle and the other's a 45. So measuring the same distance from the base of that joist up, I can get to that point there and I can draw a straight line using my 45-degree angle on my saw. Turn it over again and do the same the other way. Cut those out, notch them out, and as you'll see in a minute, when I offer them up to the frame, they will sit nicely on the square edge of the metalwork frame, and they will join at the top, as you'll see in a moment. Like that. So that's both the joists in, nice and secure. And what I've done is I've drilled holes through the underside of that steel support, and I've driven some screws, some big chunky screws from the underside up through into the wood there and across that way into the wood there, making those joists sitting on that metalwork frame really secure. That's a nice chunky piece of timber on there, and it's resting solidly on that metal frame. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put a joist across the top. But what I noticed here, after I'd put in these wonderful joists of mine, I noticed that there was going to be a big gap along the side. When I put the sheeting on, there was going to be a big gap that the chickens could escape from, or a wily fox could get into. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to install some internal shelves that the girls can jump up onto if they want, and they'll also have the benefit of giving me another edge to support the sheeting when it goes on. I'm also going to put a perch across the center for the girls to sit on, across there, and as you'll see in a minute, those are now installed nice and solid, and we're ready to put the top support in. Again, this is all timber that we had, so I wanted something nice and chunky on the top, so nice big chunky support across the top for the sheeting to be attached onto. So we're going to move on to installing the sheeting in a moment. It's 3mm plywood that we had. I decided to go with the 3mm plywood to keep the weight down. I had some 12mm, but when I offered it up, I decided it was way too heavy, and as you'll see later, this roof is supposed to pivot, to tip backwards so we can get into the chicken coop. I'm going to clad the front and back of the roof as well, to seal it all in and make it completely closed off. So that's the first sheet of ply gone on, and as you can see, that comes up to the peak there, and I'll put another sheet on in a moment that overlaps that first sheet, so that when I put the roofing felt on in a moment, it will all sit quite nicely. So that's both of the sheets on, and now I'm going to install the ends. I decided to make a few minor adjustments mid-process. I cut off the ends of those joists so that they were just going to stick out in a way that I didn't like. So I had a couple of sheets of MDF, so I decided to use MDF for the end panels. So that angle there is a square on its side. So I just got a sheet of MDF, cut it to the right dimensions for it to be a square, and then just cut across the center, forming two triangles, and they fitted on there perfectly. So we're getting towards the end now, and what I'm doing here is I'm just putting in some end caps to sort of frame the roof. So I'm going to go and I'm doing that right now. I'll remove part of that in a few moments to put the roofing felt on, and now we're going to move outside.
So here's the roof. The roof's was applied with using spray glue and roofing tacks. It's got a join in the middle, but we made sure there's a big overlap to stop the rain getting in. Martin's now fitting on the big bolts that help the trailer flip over, so that we can get in to clean it, and we'll show you that later on. The bottom half has been painted so far, but you're about to see the whole thing painted. So it was painted in 10-year wood and metal paint in an olive green. Sleeves have been painted in a natural brown wood stain. And there's a little handle that's going to flip it over. And this is Martin now applying the balustrade on the balcony just to finish off the front of their little house. And there just seemed to be kind of little holes he could attach that with. Here's another shot. We're nearly there, we're nearly finished now. We've just got some final little bits to do on it. And here they are. I'm applying a decal from my Silhouette Cameo. And that's the front. That is the glamour shot. It's got a wee ladder now and it's looking really cute. And it's got one of the Made by Marley chicken rooster decals on the front, which I painted. And I don't want you to think I just do all the painty jobs. I did do lots of the hard work. And that's a little egg collecting box that flips open with locks to prevent foxes coming in and stealing our girls away. This is the back, and we're probably going to keep it in this sort of area. Just now Martin and I are going to build a little run just so the hens get a chance to imprint on this chicken house. I can't show you the old chicken house, it's embarrassing. And Martin's just going to demonstrate my model. Here he is. He's going to open down the egg hatch just to show you how we're going to be able to get our eggs out, like so. And that just locks up just to keep the foxes out. We haven't had fox problems, but just in case. So there we are. That's our finished hen house made from an old trailer. And that's Martin showing you how it flips open. And it's been that simple. So we hope you've enjoyed this. There's a little resting perch. And it was relatively easy to build. Oh, I didn't do all the angles.
So this is our chicken run that we made together. So we've been Made by Marley, Martin and Leslie, and this is our chicken run. And I hope that you can go out and make your own chicken run. He's trying to get out the camera. Make your own chicken run just by using a simple, what kind of trailer was it, Martin?
Camping trailer.
A camping trailer, there you go. So if you like this and you want to share it with anybody, feel free, we're into sharing. But if you really want to see more things that we can upcycle, then please subscribe and click the bell button. Thank you.